This video will be showing the answers to questions 1 and 3 of my evaluation. At the beginning of the year, I looked at existing TV news broadcasts such as the ones on screen now. This was so I could learn and familiarise myself with the forms and conventions of TV news. My research was very helpful as I realised that local TV news broadcasts would need a number of things in order to make them look professional. These things included a logo, name supers, a title sequence and a chroma key, to name a few. I decided to expand on the chroma key aspect of the existing news report. I did this by taking a scenic shot of Birmingham city centre and then putting the information that was necessary over the top of the image. This was done so that the viewer could relate to the image, as everybody that will be watching the TV news report will understand where and why Birmingham city centre has been used as the image. As if the user can relate to the image, they will be more inclined to be interested in the story. In order to receive feedback from my audience, I constructed a questionnaire. It had a wide range of questions on it, ranging from age and gender to more specific questions such as their preference on the gender of their news anchor. From my questionnaire, I learned a number of vital things that I would have to bear in mind while creating my local TV news broadcast. I learned that my audience would prefer a male host as opposed to a female one. I also learned that the majority of my audience would rather the programme last between 4 and 6 minutes. The final main point that I learned was that my target audience only watch the news between 1 and 2 times a week. This is important as it means I will have to organise my news stories around this time frame. Overall, my audience feedback played a huge part in the success of my local TV news broadcast, as it gave me a good idea as to what my target audience were looking for. Here are some of the opinions of my target audience on my final local news TV broadcast. It was important that I went and collected these vox pops so I could look back on my production and review it, so I am aware of what I did well and what I should do better next time.
I thought it was very informative, with some great stories and a very enthusiastic tone. I also quite liked the set design, and the on-screen logo looked extremely professional. The props were very good and they were very plentiful and they offered a lot of colour and variety. However, the structure change. What I would say about it was very similar scenic shots in there, and I think the interview and the information was could have offered a bit more variety.
What I liked about the broadcast was that it was concise, up-to-date and current. However, the transitioning from different scenes and to different pieces of dialogue could have run more smoothly. Overall, the broadcast was very good and professional.
From these vox pops, I learnt that overall they thought our broadcast was very good, however it could improve on the structure of the report as a whole. This information is helpful as it gives me an insight on how I should improve making my news report moving forward. Here is a clip from my final news broadcast. This clip portrays some of the aspects that I emulated from existing news broadcasts. These aspects include name supers, direct eye contact with the camera, and the format in which existing news shows were presented. I also looked at the synergy that existing news shows used and tried to replicate a similar style into my report. I have done this by creating a synergy that will be recognisable to the viewer. I did this by creating a noticeable logo and using name supers that will stand out and be easy to notice and recognise as my news broadcast.